You've been told shadow work means journaling about your triggers, writing down your negative thoughts, sitting with your uncomfortable emotions. But let me tell you the truth. Shadow work isn't journaling. It's much worse. Because real shadow work doesn't just make you uncomfortable. It threatens the identity you've spent your life protecting. Today, I'm going to show you why shadow work is nothing like what you've been sold, why it's more dangerous than you realize, and why that's exactly why it works. Hi, I'm Paul, and this is Tarot Logic, an analytical approach to intuitive reading. Shadow work isn't writing about your bad habits. It's not analyzing your childhood. It's not talking to your inner child over tea and cookies. Real shadow work means looking directly at the parts of yourself that you're most desperate to deny. It's not about your pain. It's about your power. The power you've locked away because it doesn't fit your self-image. Carl Jung called it the thing you have no wish to be. That's your shadow. Shadow work is the process of turning and facing it. Writing about your fears feels safe, but safety is the opposite of shadow work. When you journal, you're still in control. You're choosing the narrative. You are deciding what to reveal. But the real shadow isn't what you know about yourself. It's what you refuse to admit. And by definition, you can't choose to see what you're actively hiding. That's why the real shadow work begins when life forces it on you through humiliation, betrayal, loss, or failure. Those moments when your defenses collapse. That's when the shadow appears. What does real shadow work feel like? It feels like rage. It feels like disgust or like shame. It feels like losing your sense of who you are. Because part of you is dying, the version of you that can't admit the truth. Real shadow work feels like destruction because it is. And the part being destroyed? Your mask. Why most people avoid it. This is why shadow work gets watered down. People don't want to face their jealousy, their cruelty, their hunger for control. So instead, shadow work gets rebranded as journaling, as inner child healing, as self-care. But shadow work isn't healing, it's confrontation. It's standing in front of the darkest parts of yourself, without flinching, and saying, I see you, and you're me. Now here's the paradox. Once you've confronted the shadow, once you've acknowledged what you've hidden, you don't become broken. You become whole. Because all the energy you spent denying your shadow becomes available to you again. Not as fear, not as shame, as power. That's why Jung said, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. If shadow work feels uncomfortable, you're doing it right. If shadow work feels comfortable, you're doing it wrong. It's not a writing exercise. It's a psychological death ritual. And only when you let your false self collapse can the real work begin. If this shifted your understanding of shadow work, subscribe to Tarot Logic for more no-nonsense insights. And comment below, what is one shadow you've seen in yourself that you wish you hadn't? Until next time, read with clarity, read with structure, and always read with logic.